Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin. Welcome to Tuesday's edition of Premarket Info. And we are not sponsored by the government, so we are putting on our show today.
We are operational as always, and we are actually trading higher by 3 points here. So I guess this was pretty much priced in yesterday that the government was going to shut down, obviously, because the market really doesn't seem to care.
Got a little bit weak very late in the session yesterday, Monday, and then popped up to settle at 74 and a quarter and opened up right away, Dennis. I don't know if they took out a little bit of premium, in the SPOOs near the close there, but we're trading up. I mean, not as much as we were at 16.84 and a quarter. That was the high. Now we're only a buck and a quarter from the low.
Yeah, drifted
Still
down.
keeping an eye. I'm still keeping an eye. 1681's my number. That was yesterday's high. Friday's low was right at that level, 1680. Now we're $3 away from here. I'm going to look at that as a first resistance point. And looking at the close of 76 is alone the pre-market. We dipped below that close at 74 and a quarter. And I think we got a shot at looking at Monday's low at 66.75.
And we're drifting down to those lows right now. Just a few minutes ago, we were up 6 points. We're only up two and three quarter points here now. So we are drifting down here, and gold's drifting down here this morning too. Joel, it's just been a slow, steady climb, sell-off in the gold futures here as well. They're trading down pretty significantly now.
Right, was identifying that 1320 level had been huge support in this
Yeah,
thing over the last
count.
few sessions. Been holding there, and we just took it out. So that's going to be your resistance point if it does go into rally mode. Now that we're drifting under this level, not a lot of support. You have that low at 1291. Doesn't think that's going to come into play yet, but we'll be keeping an eye on $1,300 level. That's a psychological low. That was the low on Friday. 1305.50 is your next major support point in gold.
Some of the miners obviously trading down here a week or two. We can start with Newmont to fool Joel there because I always go to
Yeah,
Barrick. We'll go to Newmont. This has been sitting on a cliff here, this NEM chart, which is very interesting, and is breaking down here this morning, trading down. Actually, just traded down to 27.40. That was a little bit of an overshoot, I would think. It's trading at 27.77 right now here. So Newmont, though, looking weak in the pre-market.
2778 to 2770 was your lows from Thursday and Monday. So we are opening into a little bit of support. Below that, you're looking at the 2739 level. If you go back into rally mode here, 2810 close, but being down 35 cents and the bullion being down, I'm sure those offers are going to build at the $28 level.
And crude had a little fake down there yesterday. Just looking at the chart, it was trying to break down through that whole 102 level and then pop back up over it and closed over it. Now we're trading there right now again here.
Right. Well, it actually did pop through the 102, which had been holding up for a couple days. Got down to 101.05, and then had that big reversal. And you would think you coming in this morning after that kind of reversal that you would get some follow through.
Not much.
As of right now, you're not getting it. You couldn't even get to Monday's high, right at 102.78. You stopped, I believe, at 102.56. So not getting the follow through in the crude. So, I'm sure that 101.05 level is going to be protected on the downside. But I don't think you can look for a turnaround until you can crack that 102.76 level, which was yesterday's high.
Let's move over to some of the equities here. We've got Merck trading up pretty substantially here this morning. They're cutting 8,500 jobs, but they reaffirm the outlook. So I guess this market likes some. Maybe that's they like the government not, shutting down. They like Merck cutting jobs. It's kind of a funny market, but 48.95 is where we're trading at in Merck. This is a huge breakout for Merck, I'll tell you that, because this stock has been consolidating here for the last 2 months, basically between 47 and the upper 48s. Well, we are trading up there right now. It is actually at resistance right now. If we just look from the last 2 months, we got up to this 49 level a few times and have failed. Interesting that we're trading at this 49 level right now here in the pre-market.
All right, multiple lows at the 48.80 level. We did clear that. The resistance level 49.08 kind of coincides with that pre-market high here. So be looking at 49 to 49.20 area as a major resistance. So if in fact opens up this high and then dips down under 49 here, could have some pretty good action on the downside. And looking longer term here, that 49.20 level, major resistance. It did trade up higher than that. Go back to June, traded up to 50.16, but I think that's a little bit out of the question for today.
Yeah, it looks like I wouldn't be surprised if it comes into some resistance right where it's trading right now in this whole 49.10 area that you're talking about. Lilly and Merck, let's talk about those two because all these pharmaceutical companies have been kind of, actually, Lilly's been pretty weak here, but it's been holding up just above this $50 level for the last few days. Can this Merck give Lilly a pop? Will there be a sympathy move here, or you think this is just going to be limited to Merck?
I think I read last week Lilly had a trial. I think it
Yeah,
was on
they had
Wednesday.
one go well, one go bad. They tried to announce two in one day, probably trying to limit the effects of announcing the trial that didn't go well. It didn't matter though; they really killed the stock last week.
$50 levels really huge support. I just I can't say whether it's going to go up. I say if it holds this 50.07 low from Friday, it's got a chance to make a little bit of the rally. You have a string here, Dennis, of 6 consecutive lower highs. Not a good trend. Had the same with the not same quite same pattern with the lows here, but keeping an eye on that $50 level. Probably a big fat institutional bid sitting there propping it
There
up.
is.
Yep. The Dennis high frequency and his high frequency friends are leaning on. But below that, 49.46, which you're low on July 19th. But it's critical for the stock to hold the $50 level.
Pfizer, just talk about it too because it's trading up 7 cents here in the pre-market, so
Woohoo!
not very much. But stock has had crazy consolidation too. I'll tell you where the big size is, and that's at 29 bucks. There's over 60,000 shares there, so that's where I got up to yesterday, and boom, just basically kissed it and sold back off. I wonder if it can get up there and give it another shot there today. If it does, the same high frequency guys will probably be kicking around there in the high 28.90s.
Right, and major support down in the 28.35 to 36 level. Those are your lows from Thursday and Friday, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Yesterday's high, we're trading right at yesterday's high, which was 28.80. Above that, you have the multiple highs, 29, 29.04. So pretty well defined support and resistance in Pfizer.
Walgreens, WAG, trading down here a little bit. They reported earnings here this morning, 73 cents versus 72 cents. 17.94 billion versus 17.95 billion. So a slight miss on the top line, slight beat on the bottom line, and that equals a slight sell-off of 26 cents here this morning.
Yeah, kind of a little bit of anticipation going into these earnings as this stock came off hard off the 56.84 level, traded down to 53.76 yesterday. We are trading below that level right now, so I'd use the low and the close as your resistance point. I can say I can find a lot of support here, Dennis. If you start
I
to
don't see any.
reverse here. I know, but going to the daily here to take a look at it, and this a lot of times these vacuum up moves
Yeah.
result in vacuum down moves, and boy, this thing has had a huge run since the $48 level. I do see one low sticking out there that you might need to lean on, 52.53. That's a buck away from here, but WAG's entering some scary territory here.
Diamond Foods also reported last night. DMND stock is trading down. They actually beat slightly in the top and the bottom, but the significant Q1 sales headwinds. So headwinds not good for stocks. It is still trading down here. I know it just shows a tick there, 23.58, but that was some type of institutional cross because it's actually offered down at 21.99 right now. So it's looking at open down about a buck and a half here. And interesting, this 22 level's been pretty big for the stock, so looks like that's where it's trying to find some support here in the pre-market.
Yeah, I heard Brent read that headline. Headwinds, kind of a peculiar choice for a description of earnings, but
Been better for
you
like an
are
airline stock or something. That would have been witty.
you did spike down in the pre-market to 21.72, trading up above that at the 22 level. Had a low at 22 even right on the kisser, September 25th. But you really have to call the major support here, 21.64,
Little
21.65.
double bottom there.
Yep, yep, from the 23rd and 24th of September here. So minor support 22, and then you get better support at 21.65 level.
Lots of upgrades and downgrades today. Let's fly through a few of these here, starting with J.C. Penney, who's in the news or getting upgraded or downgraded every single day. Today, Argus is downgrading the stock. Oppenheimer's cutting their price target from 15 down to 9. Obviously, all those analysts always chasing, it seems like, the moves here. But here's a stock that, if you want to talk about weakness, we have had how many days in a row where this has made a new low? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days in a row this stock has made new lows. Yesterday's low 859, so if they're going to make it a cool 10, that would make it, obviously it has to trade below 859 here today. Eventually, you got to think there's going to be some type of short squeeze here. We did get it a few days ago and bounced up and then came right back down, though, again, when they did the secondary offering. So fundamentally, nothing looks good about this company, but technically speaking, nothing looks good either. Just a matter of when you get this, like, dead cat bounce or short squeeze type of deal.
Yeah, I was looking at that level that to try and find where it traded last time, and I believe that was back in December of 2000, Dennis, back when you were just a young trader in the Bright office in Detroit. Probably you bought it for your portfolio there and wrote it up to $40, but
Where was it then? What was the price then?
863 was the low back in December of 2000, and we got to 859 yesterday. I saw the rally when it got back over $9, and I noticed that the close from the Friday was 905, and just kind of said, if this thing doesn't close under $9, it's not going to be good. Closed at 881. I think you got a lot of people underwater on this. Now the $9 level is going to be resistance, and you got to figure maybe get a pop here. I'd use that 859 level as support. Maybe if you're really itching to get out of the stock or take off a huge short position, maybe bump your bids up 865, 864, 863. People be looking ahead of that 859 level. You take out 859 and who knows? Good support at 0 for JC.
Good support. Everybody's saying that now. We used to always say that, and I looked at somebody else tweeted that out there yesterday. Good support at 0, so they're taking our lines
it's like
there,
an
Joel.
option now. It's like an option.
Yeah, it's an $8.80, 7-cent long-term option, but I don't know if I'm buying that option. Under Armour upgraded at JP Morgan UA, trading higher here. 79.95 is where it's bid right now. It just ticked up to 80.18. 79.45 is a cross, so it is trading higher than that right now. A lot of crosses this morning. But 80.18 is where it just ticked up to before that institutional cross made the tape look silly. So it's going to look like it's opened up about 60 or 70 cents.
Yeah, I had that scary print up there at 80.68 for your shorts here. You've had some couple tops 2 days ago at just over the $80 level, actually 81.15. That was Friday's high. So if you're really looking to get some profit on this one, the 81.15 level is huge. 81.64 has been the high of the move, but I mean this is just a little old upgrade. This is not earnings or guidance or any major news like that. So a little bit skeptical of that big pop on that trade.
Let's fly through a few of these other ones here.
Okay.
We've got Duke Energy, DUK, getting upgraded at Deutsche Bank. We've got Agilent, which is symbol A, getting downgraded Stifel Nicholas. Buffalo Wild Wings, or we can talk about Buffalo Wild Wings for a second. BWLD downgraded at Raymond James. It's trading down a buck 67 here. So the Buffalo Wild Wings, after breaking out and making a new high yesterday, got up to 113.11. The stock actually pulling back here this morning, and Raymond James doesn't like that breakout. It says that's going to be a fake out, and obviously stock pulling back here this morning.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of wimpy wings. I'm more of a beefy wing guy, but obviously this stock has been on a great tear. Traded as high as over 113 yesterday, and now you're getting it knocked down here on this downgrade. Uh, 108, you had a low at that level, 108.22. So that call that minor support, but I'd like the major support more around the 107 and a quarter, 107 and a half level. If this continues, coming back, on the upside here, you're still trading above Monday's low, which was 109.06. I just wanted to go back to this Agilent chart here, Dennis,
Sure.
and the big news last week that they're splitting up the company.
Yeah,
And
that didn't
put
last
all
long.
this, yeah, all this implied extra value that was going to be put into it. Well,
And you see the
got the pop.
53.47 high. Remember in the pre-market it was like up at 55 or 56 bucks. It
Yeah,
was even way
yeah,
higher than that. That was ridiculous.
right. Well, now you're looking at this major support. The low on the day of that announcement, I believe, was 50.75, and you dipped only under 51 one time, 50.98. So you could be in a gap fill situation here, all the way down to you had a high on the gap up day at 49.35. So downgrading Agilent, they must be looking at the charts and worried about that gap being filled.
Also, finish line here, FINL getting downgraded to sell at Goldman Sachs here. And FINL was another stock that's been breaking out. It's funny, Goldman seems to really fade. You got to give Goldman some props because everybody else chases price. You get like these guys like, Argus coming up downgrading JC Penney when after it's fallen 50% in the last month. Well, here's Goldman Sachs, and they're saying the stock has rallied. It's rallied too much here, and we're downgrading it to sell. So give Goldman props here because they're coming out and obviously fading the trend here, which a lot of these analysts don't do. And the stock obviously going to trade down here on this Goldman downgrade. It's down at 24.16 right now, offered at 24.39. So it's showing some weakness here in the pre-market.
Yeah, perhaps they're listening to pre-market info here for their info and skeptical of these moves, these parabolic moves. Getting into a territory here, 23.85 was your low on Friday.
Got to hold
If
that.
if it does not hold that, I'll tell you, Dennis, I wouldn't want to be long in your account here. We could slide all the way down to 22.91 to fill the gap. So finish line may be at the end of its rally.
Just looking here at a couple technical formations in your top S&P components. Well, let's start with Johnson & Johnson because J&J has had bottoms here at $86. We talked about this back in the late August, early September where we had multiple bottoms right at 86. Where did we get down to yesterday when everybody was thrown in the towel? Just above 86 at 86.15. So we have bounced out of there and we're trading up at 86.82 here in the pre-market. So, but again, this whole $86 level has just been huge.
Right. Actual low of the move was 85.85, and one day I don't know what caused the market to tank, and then we had a huge reversal, but it got down to that smack dab $86 level. So bulls will be defending that level if it gets down there again. Trading up 13 cents here, but it is opening up into good resistance here. Friday and Monday's high only a penny away. 86.94 and 86.95. Not sure if you have an institution lurking at the $87 level, but I would keep an eye on that opening into resistance. And also, what's kind of interesting about this big move in Johnson & Johnson here, you had your 94.40 high, roughly 42. Your breakdown to 86, you basically had 8.5 point moves. Your rally 4.25 points, looking for the 50% retracement. you got over that one day, got to 90.72. But you do a projection you have of this break from 94 down to 86. You take another 8.5 points off this, and you could be looking at the $82 level.
Whoa,
Oh my gosh, I can't believe I said that.
that's crazy. What about a crazy chart? Bring up Procter and Gamble off, and it usually looks similar to J&J on the charts. And Procter and Gamble has had 8 days in a row where it's made a new low. So we had that one little blip where it actually closed higher, but still 8 days in a row making new lows. So it was over 80, looking okay there again, and then kaplooey. Now we start talking about this whole flash crash low here. I don't know. We said we strike that from the charts and just ignore it because it was ridiculous. But here we are, and we're trying to move through. Yesterday really started selling off Procter and Gamble, losing like $1.50 at one point. So looking here like it's trading up just a few cents this morning, but man, this Procter and Gamble has been quietly very, very weak.
Yeah, Fat Finger Freddy here is waiting for the scratch here
Fat
down
Finger Freddy.
where we dipped under 74 though. Not a good pattern here for Procter and Gamble. They did decline my daughter for an interview, so that's probably one of the reasons for the stock selling off. But we will keep an eye on yesterday's low here, 75.35, getting a little pop off of that. I don't know if you have an institution looking around the $75 level. I had to go way back to find when the stock traded at 75, and we had a low 75.10 in June, but after that you go back to back at the end of January, and you had a double bottom at 74.67. So see how this whole $75 level looks, and also we were talking about that 75, on a weekly and a monthly formation. Besides that that blip that it had on, when it had the flash crash or whatever. 75 has been holding up in this stock for a long time, so we'll see if that support can hold.
Facebook.
Ooh.
Under 50 right now. We've been saying the scene needs to hold 50, but pre-market it has grinding higher here. You got a double bottom you were talking about, this 49.80, 49.86. That's where it's at right now. That's the level it needs to hold here to continue its incredible run. What do you think here? Are we going to test? Well, it looks like we're testing it, but...
Yeah, I'm licking my chops on this one. I was looking at it, on the close yesterday and looking at those 50 puts or whatever. But I'm saying, okay, gonna wait till it actually does take out support. And also, I was hoping to see this thing open up green, open up 50, 60, 70 cents, something like that, and take a shot on it here. But really, this 49, 80, 86 level, also tight ranges over the last 2 days. You got a minor support point at 49.50 after that, so maybe take a little bit off there. But if it gets through that 49.50, you're looking at a buck on the downside here.
But support is support until it's broken, and 49.80 is the level that I'm looking at.
Okay.
They look like they are defending it here in the pre-market. And obviously, if you look back to where we started this run about 8 or 9 sessions ago when we put in that double bottom, we know what happened. So there is the potential that you could be still putting in a double bottom here. So let the technicals work themselves out. Wait till it starts breaking down. It starts breaking down into that 49.50, then the technicals start to look a little bit weaker for this stock.
Yeah, also, you had the all-time high close at 51.24, but then, the other two closes, 50.23 and 50.39, so, love to see a pop up to that level and maybe short into a little bit of weakness.
Gold, bring up gold again. What's going on, man? It is just
Gold's
in free fall.
What's going on?
It's free falling. I'm telling you, we were only down what, $10. We're down how? Look at this. We were 13.17 we started the show. It just hit 12.84. Gold's like crashing right now.
Yeah, looking at that, it took out support at 13.20 there, so that was a technical reason here.
How? That is an incredible sell-off. Where's support now, Joel? Like, obviously, the 12.84 low we just made in the pre-market. Does that coincide with anything back from a couple months ago when we're looking at those gold futures?
Maybe someone just, read your blog that you wrote about 4 weeks ago about gold going to
The gold
zero.
was gold was going to no, it was the miners.
Oh,
Gold was going to 1,000, and the miners were in trouble. They were going to single digits. That didn't work out, but it's starting to come back and look better here now, though. I think I'm almost
uh,
scratched on that call. Well,
look on the looking at the continuous contract here. Had a low on August 8th at 1282. So we did bounce off that. Didn't quite get to that level,
wow.
1284.30. So look at that 12. Obviously the low. You get a $10 bounce off the low, already being down $34. Exceeding its average daily range here. I would think you get people stepping up 1285, 1286. Below that, 1271.80 was the other low here. But gold bugs taking it on the chin today, and just think when that tapering news came out, it tried to make a run to 1400.
Yeah, they popped $50 or $60. That move was short-lived. Gave it back in 3 or 4 trading sessions. Now we're taking out the lows there of the entire move here. So the gold bugs didn't have that much fun for very long, and now they're in trouble here again. That's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading day, and we'll be back at you tomorrow.